Welcome to Everything Casual, bringing you original football casual videos from the golden era of the 80s and 90s, right up to current day. Football away day stories and historic clashes between football firms. Subscribe so you don't miss out. We upload videos every week. Today we are looking into, for me, one of the most fierce rivalries in the UK. It's massive and it's as nasty as any derby you will find in England. It's the Black Country derby between West Brom and Wolves. Now, West Brom lads have said to me to ask Wolves lads what happened in Amsterdam, and Wolves boys have said to ask what happened in Blackpool. So, if you do know what really happened in either of those places, let us know in the comment section. Also, if there have been any clashes that you know about that have not been mentioned in this vid, then let us know that too. Anyway, let's get right into it. First we will listen to a bit of history and then we will listen to actual football lads from both teams. The Black Country, encompassing both West Bromwich and Wolverhampton, was a cradle of the Industrial Revolution. Both towns, situated just 9 miles apart, developed a strong working-class identity centred around industries like coal mining and manufacturing. This close proximity and similar socio-economic backgrounds fostered a natural rivalry, as both communities vied for regional pride and dominance. The rivalry intensified in the 1950s, when both clubs were at the pinnacle of English football. Wolves secured 3 league titles and 2 FA Cups during this era, while WBA clinched the FA Cup in the year 1954. Notably, in the 1954 season, Wolves won the league, finishing 4 points ahead of WBA, who had led for much of the season. This direct competition for top honours heightened tensions between the clubs and their supporters. The rivalry has been marred by instances of hooliganism, reflecting the deep-seated animosity between the fan bases. In 2002, over 50 WBA and Wolves supporters clashed in Amsterdam ahead of an England-Holland match. More recently, during a 2024 FA Cup match at the Hawthorns, crowd disturbances led to a 35-minute delay, with missiles thrown and players escorting their families to safety. Due to the clubs often being in different divisions, matches between WBA and Wolves have been sporadic. This infrequency has led to heightened anticipation and pressure when fixtures do occur, often resulting in intense atmospheres and at times unrest. The rarity of these encounters amplifies their significance for both sets of supporters. For many fans, the rivalry transcends football, embodying a broader sense of community identity and pride. Victories in the derby are seen as affirmations of local superiority, while defeats can feel like communal setbacks. This deep emotional investment contributes to the intensity of the rivalry. Over the years, incidents both on and off the pitch have fueled perceptions of disrespect between the clubs. Whether it's controversial transfers, managerial comments, or contentious matches, these events have added layers to the rivalry, with each side feeling aggrieved by the other's actions. 5 professional football clubs occupy Birmingham and the Black Country, their various resentments overlapping and interweaving like pieces of string on a detective's evidence board. Birmingham and Villa hate each other, obviously, but then everyone else hates Villa too. Birmingham and West Brom used to hate each other, though that one's died down a bit. Birmingham and Wolves have a firm rivalry dating back years. There's also a bit of mutual respect in there too, at least between the hooligan elements. Walsall hate everyone, but no one cares much about Walsall, which they find infuriating. But perhaps none of them have the boiling over capacity of the Black Country derby. We're all quite similar, but really don't want to be similar, laughs Russ Cockburn, a Wolves fan who has been to more than 500 away games. We all live in different towns in the Black Country close together. The commonalities don't end with geography. Both are historic clubs, titans of the English game from a pre-money era that today feels practically medieval. Of course, Wolves have hauled themselves back up closer to the top in recent years. They have players with names like Gomez and Cunha compared to West Brom's Bartleys and Furlongs, but over the years this has been a glamourless, old-school clash between clubs with more in common than they dare admit. The narcissism of small differences. But hooliganism has cast a shadow over this fixture for years. On the Wolves side is the Subway Army, led by the Burberry shirt-wearing Gilroy Shaw, the godfather of hooligans, as the tabloid press call him, who was once banned from every ground in the land. And in the West Brom corner is Section 5, which took over from the clubhouse and the Smethwick mob in the 80s, and was unique in its mixed ethnic composition at a time of homogeneity. West Brom's Section 5 mob are very, very underrated. They don't have the numbers of the big firms, but I am in contact with proper lads from up and down the country, and they all have good things to say about West Brom. The names, Joey Clark, Snarker, Johnny Lloyd, Big Frankie, John Newey, seem to crop up a lot when I have asked other firms about Section 5. And as for Wolves, they have always been respected and had big numbers. Taking big mobs home and away and getting results. Respected on the international scene for England too. I have been told that their youth mob are very naughty and active too. I don't know how true this is, but some of my contacts told me that West Brom partner up with the Venlo lads from Holland, which struck me as a weird friendship. I am curious to know how that one came about, if it's true. So if someone could verify that in the comment section, please. Rumour is that Section 5 are close to the Birmingham Zulus also, and have teamed up a few times to turn Villa over. Someone told me that Wolves have a close partnership with Plymouth. Again, if anyone can confirm that in the comment section, I would be grateful. In the 2009 book, Sons of Albion, written by 3 ex-West Brom firm members, you'll find all manner of charming anecdotes about the history of the local fixture. The time, for example, in the Wheatsheaf pub, when Section 5 found 40-odd Wolves lads drinking in the sun and went straight into them. Or the military operation style scrap on Halfords Lane in the late 90s, where a few lads ended up getting bitten by police dogs. Or the disputed tale of what went down at West Brom's halfway house in 98. The Wolves lot, in particular Gilly Shaw, claim they gave West Brom a beating here, but Section 5 insist they merely smashed the F out of an almost empty pub, except for a few old Asians playing cards. As Big John, one of the book's authors, writes eloquently, another incident, this time at the Fox and Dogs, proves just why Shaw is not to be trusted, and in fact demonstrates just how treacherous he is. I'll save you the whole anecdote, but it includes the Fox and Dogs, as well as the Vine pub, an assortment of missiles, including bottles, bricks and glasses, and at one stage someone getting a good hiding with an old milk crate. All good things must end though. Walk through West Brom on a Saturday afternoon now, and you're unlikely to see the tools of a milkman's trade redeployed as weapons of assault. Gilly's alleged fibbing still stings though. West Brom fans on the concourse before last weekend's game had a hearty chorus of "Shaw's full of shit." As I suspected, tweeted an account that appears to be a pardoi of Shaw on the morning of the game. Not one Albion has turned up in Wheatley Street in Darlaston at 9:15 a.m. This shows they don't want it. This is what the media said about the incident. 3 men were jailed over the pre-arranged brawl involving up to 30 yobs outside the Frying Pan pub in Darlaston. A judge said the trouble could be a sign that football-related trouble was enjoying a resurgence. The fight was said to have been organised over the phone, with the threat of vandalism against one of the gang's houses if it did not happen. Albion hooligans descended on the pub on the evening of January 2nd, the day the Baggies played Aston Villa and Wolves were away to Coventry. Police footage of the battle was shown to Wolverhampton Crown Court, which was told that sticks, a spanner, a screwdriver, chisel and plank of wood with a screw sticking out of it were discarded at the scene. One person was injured and at least 2 others were sprayed with CS gas by a rival hooligan. Albion fans James Wiles, John Lloyd and Carl Rosewarne admitted violent disorder, while John Ritchie, Robert Bernard, Jason Lloyd and security guard John Poole pleaded guilty to the lesser charge of affray. Wolves lads Gilroy Shaw, Richard Kent and Luke Wildman also admitted their part in the trouble. All 3 were given 3-year banning orders, while Shaw, aged 38, of Selwyn Road, was given a 3-month prison sentence suspended for 2 years. Miss Jane Sarginson, prosecuting, said Wolves and Albion hooligans had taken the bus or taxis to the Bilston Street pub at around 8 p.m. She said John Lloyd, who now lives in Spain, was at the forefront of the trouble. Lloyd, who was with his 21-year-old son Jason, was said to have traded blows with notorious Wolves hooligan Shaw before himself being struck by a police officer's baton. Recorder Mr. Patrick Thomas, QC, said the violence was perfectly disgraceful. He told the Albion fans that some of them appeared to show an enjoyment of acts of violence. The recorder said, "It's clear to me that this was a pre-arranged incident. The public is entitled to the support of the courts in trying to stop this kind of event taking place ever again." We have listened to what West Brom had to say about Wolves lads in their book Sons of Albion, so let's be fair and even it up by listening directly to what top Wolves lad Gilroy Shaw has to say about West Brom.
We came along when we played the Blues the one year and we beat them 1-0 and somebody was shouting 1-0 to the Yam Yams, and that's the way we talk. We are Yam Yams, but he came along in prison as well. They say Yam Yams because we're from the Black Country. West Bromwich Albion are our rivals, Black Country rivals, our local derby. But firm-wise, 1-1, it's Birmingham City, because West Brom, piss pop firm. To me, West Brom ain't even the firm, right? Now, but they will turn out for us. In the early 80s, Blues was up there really big, because they're bigger firm, better, they've done a lot more organised. You can get it on with them. And when they're saying they turn up, they'll turn up. Not like West Brom. You know what I mean? What they've done, they could put on the back of a stamp. He's playing on a Sunday. So I got a coach in a minibus, purposely knowing West Brom would be in Blackpool because they was playing Preston. And they all get fancy just the idiots. Right? So there's thousands and thousands of Albion, all in Blackpool, 70 chop heads, go to Blackpool, land there, 10:30. We walk in the boozer, there's about 20 of them. Pat them on the shoulder, say, good morning girls, we're here. Now we was there 4 hours telling them we're here. There was 100 yards down the road. We was in the Dutton Arms in Blackpool. They was in Yates's, which is, anybody who goes to Blackpool would know this, which is 100 yards down. And it was 4 o'clock. And it took me to go down there and coax them to come up. They did, 250 on 3 of them, but we fucking mullered them. Absolutely torched them. We've all done, we'd done them, got on the coaches and went back home. That's all we wanted to do, and we weren't even playing. We were there for one reason, and it ain't to go on the fun fair, is it?
Everyone keeps on about something big that happened in Amsterdam between West Brom Section 5 and Wolves' Yam Yam army. Details are sketchy and hard to find, so if you were there, or you know what actually went down for a fact, and no BS, then now is your time to let us know in the comment section. I have heard different things. I have heard West Brom got a result and made a statement, but Wolves have always denied it. I wasn't there for that England game, but I know lads from lots of other firms that did witness it, and they have told me their version of events. But I would rather hear from a West Brom or Wolves lad. But this is an article that I have managed to find, This is what it says. In 2002, West Brom Albion and Wolverhampton Wanderers supporters met up in Amsterdam ahead of the England versus Holland game. Over 50 men fought in the town centre. A conflict that was captured on CCTV. Footage showed a number of Wolves fans throwing bottles into a pub and waiting outside. West Bromwich Albion then ran out of the pub and attacked the Wolves hooligans. We have heard from West Brom and we have heard from Wolves. Now let's go over some notable clashes between the two over the years. 7 thugs, who ran riot in a pub after a local derby between West Brom and Wolves, have been jailed for a total of 9 years and 4 months. Glasses, stools and beer barrels were used as missiles as the rival supporters clashed at the Tamebridge pub in Great Bridge. Riot police and the force helicopter were called to calm the ugly disturbances in front of families with children. Wolverhampton Crown Court was told that after the game a group of Wolves fans entered the pub and they were forced out by Albion supporters who threw stools and glasses. The trouble then moved into the pub's beer garden, with fans throwing whatever they could lay their hands on at police officers on February 20th. Jason Harris, age 40, of Abbey Close, West Bromwich. Stephen Cox, 34, of Whitley Crescent. Rowley Regis. Ricky Wright, 30, of Arthur Street, West Bromwich. James Wiles, 24, of Broadwaters Road, Darlaston. Neil Souterer, 34, of Radford Lane, Castlecroft. Wolverhampton. Sean Bennett, 33, of Fountain Lane, Cosley, and 37-year-old Stephen Whitehouse of Birchfield Way. West Bromwich all admitted affray. They were all jailed for 16 months and banned from attending any football games for 6 years. Nathan Painter, aged 22, of Moxley Road, Darlaston, also admitted affray. He was given an 18-month community order and ordered to pay a £1,000 fine. He was further ordered to obey a 3-month curfew order and barred from attending all football matches for 3 years. Judge Michael Challinor said it was clear the fans had planned to meet for the confrontation which terrified customers with children in the pub. The judge said the violence spread outside the pub into the street, and it was then directed at riot police. This was a serious episode of public disorder, the judge told the defendants. Customers were clearly terrified by what went on, and a considerable police force had to be deployed. You were all acting together as a group, and that makes this extremely serious. Now let's look at yet another clash between the two rival firms. Here is details of the incident. 5 football yobs were facing jail and matchday bans today after admitting their role in a standoff between 100 rival West Bromwich Albion and Wolves hooligans. David Parks, Sukraj Babari, John Ritchie, Sean Roach and Josh Hind all pleaded guilty to using threatening words or behaviour following the confrontation in Wednesbury Town Centre. The 5 were found not guilty of violent disorder on the instructions of a judge, but pleaded guilty to the lesser offence. 3 men, including a serving soldier, were cleared by the jury and walked free from court. Trouble flared on January 3rd last year after Birmingham's home match against Wolves was called off due to bad weather. On the same day, Albion played Peterborough United at the Hawthorns. Police feared trouble because Wolves fans would have to pass through West Bromwich. At around 6:30 p.m, dozens of Albion fans poured out of the Bellwether pub as 5 Wolves fans were being spoken to by police. Bottles and bricks were thrown, and the trouble escalated when a group of 60 Wolves fans, including Babari, approached the pub. PC Martin Portman, who saw the drama unfold, said rockets were fired from the West Bromwich Albion group towards the Wolves group. Drivers were forced to stop in the road as missiles were hurled, Wolverhampton Crown Court heard yesterday. Wolves fan Parks, one of the original 5 spoken to by police, was said to be gesturing towards the Albion group. Albion fan John Ritchie was said to be leading at the front of the Albion group, along with Sean Roach. Albion fan Hind was said to be shouting and beckoning the rival group to fight. Mark Moore, John Simpson and soldier Matthew Foster were cleared of violent disorder. Judge Martin Walsh warned the other 5 that all sentencing options, including custody, remain open. Applications for banning orders will be made when they are sentenced. On May 23rd, the court heard. The men who admitted using threatening words or behaviour are David Parks, 44, of Griffiths Drive, Ashmore Park, Wolverhampton; Sukraj Bobari, 19, of Tansley View, All Saints, Wolverhampton; John Ritchie, 29, of Carisbrook Road, Friar Park, Wednesbury; Sean Roach, 20, of Jervois Street, Carter's Green, West Bromwich; Josh Hind, 18, of Willenhall Street, Darlaston. The jury was also told that Michael Cartwright, 41, of Beeleys Avenue, Wensfield, and a 16-year-old from Darlaston will be allowed to drop their guilty pleas to violent disorder and will instead plead guilty to using threatening words or behaviour. The cleared men are Matthew Foster, 31, of Roberts Road, Friar Park, Wednesbury; Mark Moore, 40, of Longley, Heathtown, Wolverhampton; and John Simpson, 24, of Wintour House. There have obviously been many more battles between West Brom and Wolves that I haven't touched upon in this video. I will look at doing separate complete history videos of both Section 5 and Wolves, Subway Army and Yam Yam Army in the future. This channel is all about sharing and talking about memories of the good old days of football casual culture. I also like to promote Football Lads books and promote them to an audience that wouldn't normally read the book. So if you have a book you would like me to feature or promote, then just send me an email or message me on Facebook. Thank you for taking the time to watch this video. If you subscribe, you will be notified when we release a new video. It could be your firm we make a video about next, so don't miss out and hit the subscribe button. You can find me on Facebook or email me if you have a good story to tell. See you next time.